oversimplified demons too. The daimon or the daimonian in Greek, it wasn't necessarily a bad spirit. You go through, the dialogues of Plato, Socrates.
I'm back in Billings to shoot another, I think, 19 interviews for the Billings Urban Indian Health and Wellness Center. I was here about a month ago. I did 6 sit-down introduction interviews, and I'm back to do 19 more. So once again, I brought almost every piece of gear that I own. I didn't bring my camera saddle, that was it. And then last night, right before I was going to bed, I was laying there and I realized I forgot the teleprompter, which came in really handy the last time that I did these interviews. We just put an outline of what they needed to talk about on the teleprompter that kind of kept them on track basically. And I forgot it. And before I left, like I said, I took almost everything. So it wasn't like I realized I was loading everything up in my pickup, and I kept going back into my office thinking, man, I feel like I'm forgetting something. And I went in there like 2 or 3 times and I looked, and somehow I missed it. But these are short little introductions where people just give their name, their job title, a little bit about themselves, and something about their personal life, hobbies, things like that. So it's not absolutely vital that we have the teleprompter. It's more of like a safety thing. So I can't believe I forgot it. Stupid. All right, last time I had my mom's vehicle. I got my truck this time, so I gotta set up the cart, load everything on. It should go a little smoother this time. There she is, all loaded up. I don't think I could have went with a smaller cart. If anything, I might have needed a bigger one. So like I mentioned earlier, I filmed in this exact location last month doing the same style of videos. So the challenge today was to try and recreate the same setup that we had for the previous videos. And, which meant putting the lights in the same place, using the same diffusers, making sure the cameras and therefore the tripods were in the same position and the same distance away from where the subject was going to be sitting. So I was constantly pulling out my phone, looking at my previous vlog, and trying to get a feel of for just exactly how I positioned everything. Like, oh, this end table was moved a little closer to the corner last time, or the lamp seemed to be this far away from the wall. And it just became a game of trying to make these small little adjustments. And after a while, I got it looking pretty similar to the last shoot. Now, one of the things I noticed after the fact from the last shoot was this wire from the lamp that was just kind of like sloppily hanging down. So this time I made it a point to tape the wire to the leg of the lamp just so it looked a little cleaner. Was it that big of a deal in the previous videos? Probably not. But did it make me feel more professional? Maybe. It was just something I noticed while editing the videos. Got me feeling like I'm Eric Spolstra or something. Scott, I didn't even notice it.
It's just, that's the untrained eye that says something like that.
That's just a joke. Anyways, if you remember in my last vlog where I was filming here, I mentioned that I mistakenly had the NX800 in the wrong recording format. I was using XAVC SL when I should have been using XAVC SI, which is the higher recording format. And I was wondering if using that format would help reduce some of the noise that was in the shadows in the last batch of interviews that I did. while using s-log3. And after testing it out here, I was still getting noise no matter what. You know, when I was shooting in s-log3, I was trying to way overexpose things and there was still noise in the dark parts. I don't even necessarily call them shadows. It's just the dark areas. Like if someone was wearing a black t-shirt, noise was showing up. And so I tried way overexposing and it was still showing up. I was even messing around with the noise suppression settings in camera and it was still there. The only way I was able to get rid of the noise was to shoot in S-Cinetone. So for all the people that like S-Cinetone, the NX800, the Z200 works great in S-Cinetone. But 95% of the time I'm shooting in log format just because, you know, I like the flexibility and color grading. So in post, what I did last time is I have a plugin. It's called Neat, and I was able to reduce some of that noise to where it looked great actually. The only issue is it slows down my machine and the export takes a little longer. So I guess that's something you just got to live with the camcorder. All right, so once I got everything set up, if you checked out my vlog number 17, you'll kind of see how the process went. Now, I'm not going to really show it here because it's pretty much the same as that video. And so we did about half of the interviews on the first day. We finished at about like 3 p.m. So I took that extra time to go out and get some shots of the city of Billings, you know, that I could use for B-roll in one of the videos that I'm going to be working on here. The city of Billings, you know, it's situated underneath these cliffs called the rim rocks, and they're basically like this plateaus that sit over the city. So when you go to the top of them, you can overlook the entire city. So it's kind of out of town a little ways and it's a little trek. So I walked up there with a couple of my kids and I took the NX800 with me, got some shots of the city. I also flew my drone for a little bit too as well. You know, it's been about a month since I recorded these vlogs. I'm just now getting around to editing them. I feel like I've been really busy the past month, you know, so a little bit with work, like with this project, editing the videos for it, but also just like personally, I feel like I've been really busy. I missed a couple days of work because my kids with sports, track meets and things like that. I think I missed like 2 days of work there. My wife was out of town for a week for her job. And so that week was kind of hectic for me, you know, looking after the kids. And then one day I had to, actually it took like a day and a half. I went and got my passport or filled out the application to get my passport because of the, you know, the Real ID thing that went into effect on May 7th. You know, I don't have a Real ID. I didn't even have a passport. So I figured now was probably the best time to just, you know, just get a passport because passport works for the Real ID stuff. And I feel like by chance I had a job that I needed to go out of the country for, I'd have my passport. So it's just smart to do, but it is a process. You know, I took my own picture and then I had to fill out all of the application stuff. I took it to the place where I drop it off and I had them look at it just to make sure I had everything right because I didn't want it to get sent back because I am traveling at the end of the month here in a couple days. And they looked it over and I did make a couple mistakes on the application, so I had to redo it. The picture I gave them, because I went and got it printed out somewhere. I was going to print it at my mom. My mom was going to print it, but she didn't have any color ink in her printer and I don't have a printer. So I went to a place where they print passport photos and they printed it for me. But for some reason, the background came out a lot darker than it looked in the picture. And so when I took it to the place where I drop off the passport application, they said, yeah, the background looks a little too dark. You're going to want to go have someone else take the picture. So I went to a local newspaper place, had them take the picture for me, but I didn't like the way it looked. It was, I don't know, it looked weird. I felt like it didn't look like me. And so I downloaded this app on my phone where it gives you the dimensions that you need for the passport, and it'll give you a white background because you have to have a white background for your passport photo. So I did that, got all of that taken care of, went and submitted it.
And everything was fine. I got my passport now finally, but that whole process took like a day and a half. So I feel like I just missed a lot of work, and then now I'm finally able to sit down and edit these vlogs, which I'm glad. It's been a month since I uploaded my last video. And here we are the next day. They let me keep my tripod and my stands and my mic stands and everything. They let me keep it in the room there overnight, which was good. I took my cameras with me, but I left all the tripods and stands up. So the next day it was really easy to put everything together. It took me a lot less time than it did the first day. And then, you know, we just did the remaining interviews that we had. Not much really to show here in that regard. So I finished those in the early afternoon, and then I tore everything down, and then I had to shoot some B-roll in the clinic there, which we did. It took about an hour, maybe an hour and a half to do all of that, that I was going to use for one of the videos. And then, yeah, that was my time there. 2 days of production. And then I had, you know, a handful of videos to edit. By handful, I mean about like, I don't know, because I don't think everybody showed up. We missed a couple people, but it was like between 15 and 20 videos. And that's partly why I haven't uploaded these vlogs either. I was working on those. But yeah, that's what this job looked like. After I finished, I hit the road back home. It was like a 4.5 hour drive. I left at about 5 or 6, I think, in the evening, and made it back home at about 11, I'd say, which is fine. It, you know, allows me to sleep in my own bed, and then I can get right to work the next morning instead of, you know, spending a day traveling. So it works out for me. So yeah, that's it for this video. I'm not sure when my next video will be. I had a couple jobs that I was supposed to work on, or people had contacted me for. I thought I was going to do a job with some of the state parks here, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But there's some other ones that I'm gonna be working on. I just don't know exactly when. So I'll be sure to record those, vlog those. But in the meantime, I don't know when that'll be. Could be in a few weeks, could be in like a month. I know I have a big job coming up this summer where I'll be going to each of the reservations here in Montana, and I will be filming at one of the powwows at each reservation. There's eight of them, so we have 7 scheduled right now. We're still waiting on the 8th one, but that'll be kind of an ongoing project that I'll be doing here on my channel, and it goes from June all the way to September. So I'll have a lot of jobs in that regard. I have a lot of content, but I don't know when. You know, like I said, that one's not until June, and I think I might have a couple jobs between then, but we will see. So I'm not sure when I will see you again, but whenever I do, I will see you. All right, I'm gonna stop there. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'll just see you in the next video.